just watching, but it's very, very important that we listen to the black man. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called Message to the Black Man. It did not exclude the black woman, but we needed some medicine. We needed some direction to the black man. The black man is an endangered species, sisters, and we need your help. White folks have these societies for the bald eagle, who's just an endangered species. There's the society for the koala bears and the Bengal tigers and all of that, but they don't have nothing for the black man because they want us to go extinct. The Bible and the Quran says kill off the male and spare the female. Who do you think they're talking about? But I'm here to tell you, but the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has resurrected the black man. So now we're on a mission right now to take our rightful place in the kingdom of God. I'm about to bring up to you, brothers and sisters, a black man, a bold black man, a young black man who hasn't been caught up in the streets, who hadn't been caught up in the drug stuff, hadn't been caught up in running after women. That's right, but you ain't doing that, right? I want to make sure. You said he's fine. Because they seem to have a problem with their own children. These white boys getting guns and shooting up places, these young white boys. So white folks are real proud of themselves. They can train a monkey. They can train a gnat. They can train an elephant, but they can't seem to raise and educate and bring up their own little brats. I got a problem with that. But I'm here to tell you that God has came to us. God has came and rose from among us a Georgia-born black man to take us into the kingdom of God here on planet Earth. Not up in the sky with some pie, but here on the earth, where the kingdom of God is going to be built. So I'm about to bring up another Georgia-born black man, a bold black man. As the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, it's all about the youth. Again, a young black man who's not necessarily distracted by all this mess, because those of us, keep in mind that we do get old, but that don't mean you gotta age. So if we gotta practice how to eat to live, but what are we eating off of? What are we eating off of with our mind? What are we eating off of as far as what's going on as far as our music intake, our food intake, and even our spiritual intake, which is the most important. So this brother here is one of the first graduates from our national graduation class. This brother is very academic. He's a wonderful brother, a wonderful student, a brother who's about to take us to a next phase of our nation because he is our future. So brothers and sisters, put your hands together for an outstanding soldier, an outstanding brother, an outstanding teacher. I present to you Brother Landon X. Put your hands together for Brother Landon X, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Keep it going for my brother Merlin Muhammad. All praises due to Allah. All praises due to Allah. He is right and exact. This is just a hospital. In fact, it's a mosque. That's what I like to call it. Assalamu alaikum. How y'all feeling? You sure? You alive? Praise be to Allah. Then you doing all right. Give yourselves a round of applause. All praises due to Allah. I also want to go ahead first and foremost, start off in the proper fashion. The proper fashion as we do in the Nation of Islam. Is that all right? In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God who appeared to us, in the person of Master W. Fard Muhammad. See, some of us struggle with that. Some of the naysayers and haters of the Nation of Islam, they got a problem with that. Now, here's what they say, though. They say, well, I don't believe that God came as a man. That's the part of it that they say that they don't agree with. I don't think that's what it really is. You can't have a problem with God coming as a man, especially if you're a black man in America, or even if you're an Arab. Because Negroes and Arabs been worshiping a man for a long time. Been worshiping the white man. So you know how to worship a man. You worship the white man like he's God. So I don't think that's the real issue that they have with us saying that God came in the person of a man. The real issue that they have is that they came and that God came to us. God came to the black man in our worst condition. After trillions upon trillions of years of being on this planet, he came to us in our worst condition. Destroyed, despised, rejected. See, and we hate ourselves so much, and we hate each other so much, that bothers us, that God would come to us. But you got to think about it for a minute. Who else would he come to? Who else would he come to? See, you got to do what the master and the messenger told us to do. Look into your poison book. What is the poison book? We call the Bible the poison book. That's not a diss necessarily, because with a Bible and with poison itself, you can use poison to medicate and to murder. You give someone some medicine, but you give them too much, or if you give it to them in the wrong dosage, they'll die. Is that correct? If you give them the right dosage at the right time of the day, you know, they say eat it before a meal, eat it out, take it after 6 o'clock, whatever the case may be, then you might feel better after. Is that correct? So in the Nation of Islam, we're taught the proper way to read the Bible. Now, I can't call it the Holy Bible because holy means pure. It means untouched, unadulterated, no remixes to it. And see, so if I called it holy, that would be a lie based on what you see on the cover of the Bible. The Bible says the Holy Bible. Okay. But then if your eyes go just a little bit lower, it says King James Version. Version. Not virgin like never had sex before. Version, meaning it's my interpretation of a word, but it's holy and it's pure. All praise is due to Allah. Something's wrong with that picture. But if you go into that book, you go into the Bible, go into the poison book, and just go to the book of Isaiah. Chapter 52, verse 10, it says clearly the Lord has made bare his arm in the eyes of all the nations. Which nations? When you make bare your arm, that's like rolling up your sleeve and flexing a little bit. See, God, he a little cocky, but he cocky in the best way, do you understand? And see, he want to do something that's going to make all the nations double take and say, damn, who is that? See, he don't do stuff and you know, and then you give the credit to somebody else. No, he wants you to know that it's him. So he found a rejected, a despised people so deep in the mud that nobody else could pull them out. And that's you. That's the black man, that's the black woman, that's the aboriginal man, the aboriginal woman. So he came to you in your worst condition, in the worst part of the planet Earth, and then pulled you up and made you into a man like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, made you into a man like the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And that's why we say that God came to us in the person of Master W. Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, plus 1,000 days as far as I'm concerned. All praises due to Allah. I further bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. But I must be clear that when I say that Muhammad is his messenger, I want to be Quranically correct. I have to be Quranically correct. Time dictates the agenda. I have to be correct as far as the time is concerned. See, now we got to go into the Holy Quran. This is the book of the Muslims. Don't get mad at my midget Quran. This is called a pocket Quran. This is the one you can take anywhere you go. This the one that don't scare white people as much. But in the Holy Quran, it says something that's very clear that our Arab brothers have to understand, that our so-called Negroes who want to be Arab brothers have to understand. It says in the Holy Quran, chapter 16, verse or ayat 36, and certainly, and what? That means there's no doubt. And certainly we raised in every nation. There you go again. God always talking about all the nations, every nation. See, he want to stunt in front of the whole world when he do his thing. Do you understand? And certainly in every nation we raised a messenger from among the people. That's as clear as it gets. So Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, peace be upon him, I love that brother. I love that man. He did a beautiful work for his people. He did a beautiful work for the Arabs 1,400 years ago, for his own tribe, the Quraysh. But that was for them. And even he understood that 3 generations after him would not be of him. So we have to be Quranically correct. You call yourself a Muslim. The actual book says that every nation will have a messenger. Is that correct? So with all due respect to Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah, see, he was gone 1,400 years ago. And even he said that 3 generations after him would not be of him. So what about me? What about you? What about our people in the hills of North America? If you think nobody will come to us, and you call yourself a Muslim, then you calling the Quran a lie. You calling Allah a liar. I don't know, maybe y'all got it like that, but I ain't ready to call God a liar. And he proved that he was not a liar when he raised through Master Fard Muhammad, as Master Fard Muhammad in the person, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, a Georgia-born black man who only went as far as the 4th grade, and he didn't even finish. But he raised an $80 million empire, but even greater than that, he raised you. He told you, a raggedy, destroyed Negro. He taught you how to eat. He told you the true name of Almighty God, Allah. He taught you how to treat your brother and your sister. He taught you how to treat yourself. That in itself deserves a round of applause. Is that correct? So I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger, but I'm talking about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, how do I know about them? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, he departed in 1975. He didn't die. Keep on coming. We're going to explain to you about that. But he didn't die, but he went about his business. He went away to study for a few years. But he was gone several years before I was even born. How do I know about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad? I'm up here with my big head talking about Master Fard Muhammad. He was gone several decades before I was born. How do I know about them? I know about them because of a beautiful man by the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is our divine. All praises due to Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, our divine leader, teacher, guide, and some of y'all gonna get mad at this one, Messiah. Uh-oh. You got me, brother, in case they run up here? I'm gonna say that again. Messiah. See, some of y'all ain't, see, I went with you on that one, brother. That's, the leading part, what I mean? He do be telling the truth and stuff, cuz, but, what I mean? Messiah, How many of you have ever heard of J. Edgar Hoover? Raise your hand. J. Edgar Hoover, absolutely a straight devil. Before he died and was buried next to his boyfriend, y'all didn't know that? Oh, my bad. Man, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Yeah, he was. Look it up. He was buried next to his boyfriend. Ain't that cute? Oh, that's so romantic. He was literally buried next to his boyfriend. But before he was buried next to his boo, he was possessed. And this is in court documents. You can go to any federal library and pull this up. In the COINTELPRO program, he was possessed with stopping the rise of a black Messiah. Now, many of us, we're not as clear as we should be on what that really entails. Because when he first started it, there were some differences in the black community that don't exist today. We loved ourselves and we loved each other a little bit more than we do today. Our families were more intact than they are today. So when they first started COINTELPRO, it mostly revolved around wiretaps and agents and provocateurs, and they still do all that. It's an FBI agent in here right now. Assalamu alaikum, dear brother or sister. You know, give the greetings to your FBI field office. Tell them I said it. You know, tell them when next time they come in my house, just make sure they leave it like they found it. But that's just the basic aspect of COINTELPRO. There's a greater aspect of COINTELPRO that continued even after he was buried next to his boyfriend. I'm gonna keep bringing that up because I think that's important. See, because his spirit and what he wanted and what he desired, it leaked into the government. It leaked into the media. It leaked into the dope. It leaked into the medicine, the so-called medicine that we take. It leaped into everything we watch on TV and the internet, and what it did is it broke up the black family. It made us hate ourselves even more. See, that's the beautiful, I wasn't nowhere around, but that's the beautiful thing about when I look back on the 60s and the 70s, man. You had sisters, no matter what the condition of their mind was, they walked around with a natural afro. In fact, the bigger your afro was, the cooler you was. Is that correct? But since J. Edgar Hoover was buried next to his boo, it's become an aspect of making you hate yourself, making you hate your own family. You go talk to the average sister today, unfortunately, she'll say right there in front of her children, niggas ain't shh. Her baby's right next to her. These niggas ain't shh. And brothers, I ain't gonna let y'all off the hook. Man, forget these female dogs right there in front of your children. If you see your children, if you even around your children. So what does that do to the children? The mama, she don't want a man. The little girl, she say, when I grow up, I don't want a man. And then the little boy, he says, when I grow up, I don't even want to be a man. So now there's a disease of hatred for black men in the black household, and it's boiling, it's mixing like a pot of bean soup. So that black Messiah is going to be a man, a black man. So to stop the rise of a black Messiah, and you've already poisoned the mind of the children to not like any black man, and a man is raised up as a black Messiah, you're going to look at him with doubt and suspicion. You're going to second guess every decision they make. You're going to look at them funny. White man can tell you to do anything, and you roll with it. But because you got that J. Edgar Hoover poison in your mind, I said divine leader, teacher, and guide, and then Messiah, some of y'all twitched. Some of y'all still squirming in your seat. That's all right. That's just your J. Edgar Hoover acting up. That's all right. Keep coming to Muhammad Mosque number 27. That's the medicine that you need. Just like my brother said, this is a hospital. And the doctor is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in those three great names, I greet you in the words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language. That's our language. I know you think that's some Arab language. That funny looking dude in the corner store that sell you all the liquor and the porn and the swine. You give him the greetings, he don't even give it back. Treat us like dirt when we in there. The bulletproof glass is about that thick. You think that's his language. No, long before his kind even existed, you were speaking that language. And I greet you in that language, in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. All praises due to Allah. That was my version of a 45-minute salutation, like my brother, Western Regional Student Minister Abdul Malik Saeed. Let's give him a round of applause. Man. And before I get back to my brother, Let's also give a round of applause for those who came up on this roster before I did. Sister Cerise Muhammad. We call her Mother Sharisa because she feeds all the homeless in this neighborhood. And if she had the money and the time, she would feed the entire Aboriginal Los Angeles. She's got a beautiful heart, a beautiful spirit. I love my sister. Give her a round of applause one more time. And also give a round of applause to Brother Merlin Muhammad, student minister Merlin Muhammad. I love that brother. He predicted all this. Like my second week in the mosque, he's like, you gonna be up there at the roster? So if I say anything wrong or something you don't like, talk to him at the end of the meeting. Don't say nothing to me. It's all on him. All praise is due to Allah. But I got to go back to my brother student minister, Abdul Malik Saeed. I love that brother, but let me be clear as to why. Because some of us, like the minister said, we have diseases in our hearts. But I'm going to tell you why I love this brother. To put it simply, I love him because my minister, who I also love, loves him. And that's enough for me. And my people, who I've been loving since I was born, love Minister Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad. And that's enough for me. Every time we go out there with the Final Call newspaper, to this day, it ain't even his name no more. They be like, man, tell Minister Tony I said, Salami Lami Lakum, man, I appreciate that brother. And here's why. Not just because he stands up on this rostrum and he says a few words that entertain them or make them feel good. It's because when their cousin, when their child, when their mama, their daddy gets shot down in these streets, get the hell beat out of them by the police, he the first one there. He get there before the ambulance. He get there before the LAPD. And if necessary, he'll beat the hell out of the LAPD. That's a true story. That's why Nipsey Hussle loved that brother. So if my minister loves him, my people loves him, I don't know about you, that's good enough for me. So let's give him one more round of applause. And I'd be remiss if I didn't show love to our beloved Western Regional Student Captain, Halim Muhammad. Y'all don't see him. Y'all don't see him because he's one of the hardest working brothers I ever seen in my life, and he stays working, he stays moving. And like my second or third week in the ranks, I made the mistake of showing up. I didn't even have my X yet. I made the mistake of showing up with a suit and a bow tie. And he grabbed me by my arm. Come on, you wrote your letter? It don't matter. Come on. He gave me a final call. A stack of final calls. He put me on this corner right here behind this wall. And he said, get the dead. And I said, yes, sir. I didn't know what that meant, but okay, let's get it. And that's how he works. He does not care about personalities. He does not care about titles. He just wants to get the dead. And he's been doing it longer than I've been alive, for 40 years. 40 years. And we're blessed at Muhammad Mosque number 27 because our student captain and our student minister were named directly by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So let's give them a round of applause one more time. All praise is due to Allah. As you can see on this screen to my left, the title of my subject today is Birth of a Nation. Birth of a what? Of a nation. Now, first, let me tell you what this conversation. This is going to be I'm going to be the only one talking, but this is a conversation. It's not going to be a history lesson. I wasn't around in 1930. Neither were you. Well, some of y'all, you can't tell with Muslims how old they are. But I wasn't around in 1930, so this ain't a history lesson. But what we are taught in the Nation of Islam that we come from a circle of gods, 12 major, 12 minor, that write history 25,000 years in advance. In what? That's the future. So when I say birth of a nation, I'm talking about what's going on now and what's going to go on tomorrow. Hell, if my ancestors could write history 25,000 years in advance. I can at least talk about tomorrow, is that right? So first of all, let me be clear that when I say the birth of a nation, I'm not talking about the birth of Islam. Islam has no birth record. It has no beginning nor ending. The Nation of Islam is being born, present tense, right now. Right now. But what does nation even mean? We got to be clear about what that word is. When you hear about the Nation of Islam, let me be clear. This is not a church. This ain't a fraternity. It's not a sorority. It's not your little secret society. It's not a gang. It ain't the set. It ain't none of that. It is, without question, a nation. But what is a nation? If you look it up in the dictionary, first of all, let me explain the importance of defining words. See, how many of you know, by show of hands, that the white man and white supremacy destroyed you through slavery, oppression, unfair treatment? Oh, they the only ones that know? Y'all don't know that y'all were destroyed? Come on now. But guess what? Long before the white man destroyed you, he destroyed language. We're taught in the Nation of Islam that when we drove him into the cave sides of Europe, we took everything from him except for the language. So even in the caves and hillsides, he had the time and the opportunity to tinker with and manipulate the language. And the product of that was the English language. So you think the English language is something fancy. And the only reason you think it's fancy is because white people speak it. But it's actually a very young, grafted, bastardized language. It's a mix of several different languages: Latin, Greek, Spanish, even a little bit of Arabic. All thrown together, a Frankenstein mutt language. So every time you say an English word, you got to look it up. And when you crack open the dictionary, you find out that it is a grafted language, because every word has about 6 or 7 definitions. So you have to go down deep into the root of it. Just like you have to find the root of yourself, you have to find the root of words. Is that correct? So the meaning of the word nation, it has a Latin root, nasi, which simply means to be born. So once you develop a nation, you're already saying, I'm ready to be born, as our Christian brothers and sisters say, born again. The basic definition of nation just simply means a group of people with a common cause or descent. Notice that it doesn't say anything about where they live, the land or the country that they live in. It just says a group of people with a common cause and descent. Is that right? So as a nation that's being born right now, we're in labor. We are in labor. But the nation has to be born, but the only way it's going to be born is through you. Through who? Through you. Now, a lot of us, by design, we are obsessed with this nation, with this country, America. Man, look at what they got. They got this. They got that. They got the big old pretty buildings. America didn't just drop out the sky. This dude, this funny looking cracker named Christopher Columbus, he messed around one day and he accidentally discovered, big old quotations, discovered America. Now I say discovered, not because he was the first. How many of you have children? Raise your hand. Children discover things every day. They go up under the cabinets, they go in places they ain't supposed to go. They find that bottle of Hennessy you got stashed in the, my bad, we ain't supposed to talk about that. This is a holy place, this is a mosque. But they discovered that for themselves. And see, this white man is a baby on this earth. He only been around 6,000 years. You don't even have a birth record. Didn't nobody have a watch, a clock, or nothing when you were brought up. You created all of this, so that's why you have no birth record. But this white man just been around 6,000 years. In the grand scope of things, that's about 5 minutes. Do you understand? So we look at America and we say, wow, it's so fantastic, it's so great. But in reality, it's only about 300 years old. 300 years old. Because it took them until 1776 to win its independence. 300 years, but even with that, they did that with your help. They got free labor, otherwise known as slavery, and it still took them 300 years. So some of us get a little, upset, get a little, impatient with the Nation of Islam, even though some of us ain't doing a damn thing to help. But just remember that America took 300 years with free labor. Ain't no free labor in the Nation of Islam. When I moved the Final Call newspaper, I get paid for that. I don't know about you. I get money for that. I got $20 for one paper just yesterday, so it's all good. All praises due to Allah. But America was built by you, and unfortunately, you still carrying her. You still carrying her. That's sad, man. Put her down. Put that cave woman down. Put her down. She can walk by herself, and if she can't, the hell with her. But the only thing propping up this so-called nation, called the United States of America, is the Aboriginal man and the Aboriginal woman. Do you understand? So I'm going to show you something real quick. If I can get this thing to work. This is from Revelations chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. This is dealing with a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain. In what? Pain. As she was about to give birth, standing on the moon. See, this ain't about no, as you can see on the picture, this really ain't about no goofy white woman. This really ain't about an actual dragon. Dragons don't exist. It's got 7 heads. Our beloved Western Regional Student Minister, Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad, said that those heads represent the pharmaceutical companies. It could also represent the FBI, the CIA, the 3 branches of government, a few other things, if you understand. This ain't about no goofy white girl. I'm going to show you who this is really about. That's who it's really about. This brother right here, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Not even a woman. The reason why it's depicted as a woman is because a woman, anything that produces is considered a she. And this beautiful black woman, this beautiful Aboriginal woman produces. And they produce when they meet a man. When they inseminate and actually cohabitate and create a child. This man met a man, a beautiful man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And as you can see, all praises due to Allah, he's got a crown with many stars on it. But that's not really the crown that the scripture is talking about. It's talking about his mind. There are many stars in his mind, do you understand? What a beautiful man. And if you think about it, Master Fard Muhammad, as I said before, he came to us and made himself known in July 1930. That was almost exactly 9 decades ago. Sisters, about how many months does it take to birth a child? 9 months. And 9 decades ago, Master Fard Muhammad made himself known. Basically, what I'm telling you by saying that this is a birth of a nation is that it's nation time. I'm going to say that again. It's nation time. It's nation time for the Aboriginal people of this earth. It's absolutely nation time. Now, why nation? Why nation? Why not gang? Why not, fraternity? Why not just group? Why not, just wear matching outfits and run around trying to look tough? Why nation? Why infrastructure? Why government? Why structure? Why law? Why any of that? We must create a nation because we are witnessing the expiration of the Caucasian. Now that rhymed and it wasn't even on purpose, but I'm gonna say it again. We must produce a nation because we are witnessing the expiration of the Caucasian. Now that's sad news for some of y'all. I'm sorry. My sincerest condolences. I know that's your boo, that's your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You love them. You love them more than they love themselves. I understand. I completely and totally understand. But it is a fact that the Caucasian is an expired race. Our beautiful brother, student minister Ismail Muhammad, said the same thing last week in Mosque No. They are a people with an expiration date. Now see, even though some people might look at me and say I'm like light brown skin or light skin, I'm still too dark for you to believe me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you actual facts from this white man. We're gonna have class today, is that all right? Do y'all see that? All praise is due to Allah. Let me show you something. This is an actual chart. Number of births and deaths among whites in the United States, 1999 to 2016. That green line at the top represents births of white people. The blue line at the bottom represents deaths of white people. Notice how far apart they are in the beginning of this study. But then as the years go on, rapidly, we ain't talking about back in the 40s, the 30s. They just started counting in 1999. And watch how these two freight trains on the wrong track, how they just collide. And then at the very end, the death rate is higher than the birth rate. I'm sorry to tell you, but whenever a people start dying faster than they're being born, that means that God has some say in it. That means that their days are literally numbered. Now, since we already covered what white people had to say about it, that probably conditioned you to accept what a black man might say about it. Is that correct? What you're looking at right here is the black man's Bible. Message to the black man. Message to the black man. Every black Aboriginal man or woman on this earth should have a copy of this book. You absolutely must have a copy of this book. Do you understand? Let's see what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to say. Now remember, that study started in 1999. This book was published in the mid-1960s. And he taught us that Almighty God Allah, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, he spoke with authority. Not as one who was under authority, but as one independent. He said the world's time was out in 1914. What year? 1914. But people could get an extension of time depending upon their treatment of the righteous. Who is the righteous? Who is the righteous? You are. See, when I asked that question, you thought about that little drink you had last week. You thought about all them cuss words you were saying in traffic on your way here. You thought about how you treat your husband or your wife. You thought about all your flaws and you said, I damn sure ain't the righteous. I'm not talking about what the white man made you. Not the God that you worship today. I'm talking about what the real God made you. He made you the righteous. So he's talking about the righteous. And he says he declared that there can be no judgment until we, the so-called Negroes, hear Islam. Hear what? Islam. Whether we accept it or not. All praise is due to Allah. Give a round of applause for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the black man's Bible. Message to the black man. All praises due to Allah. Beautiful, beautiful book. And again, if you're a black man or black woman and you don't have that book, boy, you losing in life. Now let's think about that expiration date, 1914. 1914. Now think about it if you went into a grocery store looking for some milk. Today is what? The 11th of August, 2019. Even if the expiration date said August 15th, 2019, the sisters know you're not buying that because it's only going to last a few more days, so you're going to leave it right there because you might forget to even drink it, and then on the 16th, it's going bad. It stinks. Bacteria has set in, is that correct? If you drink it, it'll make you sick. And then you'll be even madder because you wasted your money on something that only lasted a few days. But think about this white man. He expired in 1914, but you still give him 95% of all your money, and you're still drinking him in. You drinking in the poison of his idea of life, his idea of who God is. You even drinking in the poison of his idea of you. He calls you a nigga, is that correct? Okay, maybe y'all know a different kind of white man. Let me ask that question again. He calls you a nigga, is that correct? Now what do we call each other? What's good, my nigga? Man, ain't nothing, nigga, just chilling. Niggas out here tripping, man. You know how niggas be. See, you didn't drink that milk of this expired cracker. Now, he expired in 1914. That was 105 years ago. In the Holy Quran, again in my little miniature Holy Quran, in Surah 105, how many years has it been since he expired? 105 years. But in the Holy Quran, in the 105th Surah, it's called Al-Fil, F-I-L, Al-Fil, which means the elephant. Means the what? And for those of you who are not familiar with the Holy Quran, each chapter or surah has a very specific meaning, a deep meaning. So deep that in most Qurans, it spends a couple of pages just describing the meaning of the name of the chapter. The 105th chapter of the Holy Quran is called the elephant because there was a time, a long time ago, where an army invaded Mecca. And their intention was to destroy the Kaaba. How many of you know what the Kaaba is? That's that big black brick thing that all the Muslims, when they make Hajj, they go around it in so many circuits and they want to kiss it and all that kind of stuff. An army came and they wanted to destroy that Kaaba. So what they did is that they went and got the biggest animal they could find to try to knock it down. An elephant. So that's why the 105th surah is called the elephant. But guess what? When this happened, it happened when they attempted to knock down the Kaaba with an elephant. But I don't know how smart that was. It must have been a very dumb army. But anyway, this happened the same year that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. I'm going to say that again. The same year Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. What's the actual meaning, the root meaning of the word nation? To be born. So that was the inception of the birth of the worldwide Nation of Islam, if we understand. All praise is due to Allah. But the Kaaba, it really has no holy quality. They fight each other literally to try to kiss it. To kiss it. It's black. It's got gold trimming. But really what it represents is you. It represents the black woman, the aboriginal man. And they circulating around it, just like your enemy does. I know he treats you like he don't love you. He treats you like you're nothing, but he constantly revolving around you, and he don't want to let you go. And when he sees any value in you, he wants to come and kiss you. He wants to come and pull from you. He wants to cohabitate with you. Sisters, he wants your man. Brothers, he wants your sisters. See, he's circulating around that Kaaba, but you, dear brothers and sisters, are the real Kaaba. All praises due to Allah. I don't know if y'all heard or not. Maybe you did or did not. But a few months ago, the FBI banned the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from social media. Some of y'all like, wait a minute, the FBI did that? The FBI did that? No, see, y'all ain't paying attention. I said the FBI banned the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from social media. Facebook, FB, Instagram, I. See, you ain't got to be too smart, people. Put it together. FBI. Real easy, real simple. I know some of y'all went to public school like I did, but it's real simple. F with the B plus the I. If you put it together, FBI. Now, some of y'all that know me probably like, well, wait a minute, Brother Landon. I see you on Facebook all the time. NationTown TV. What? Are you working with the FBI? That's what they say, Cap. Is that right? No, I'm not with the FBI. I'm with the FOI. I'm with the FOI. Please understand the difference. Please understand the difference. See, the FOI, that's the name given to the military training of the men that belong to Islam in North America. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that military implies tactics. It implies maneuvers. It implies setting up a beachhead behind enemy lines. Behind enemy lines. You understand? So when I set up a page like Push Crew Official, shout out to Brother Brandon X. When I set up NationTown TV, that's a beachhead behind this devil's enemy lines. And see, all praises due to Allah. That's the spirit of David in your poison book. That's the spirit of David in the Bible. See, with David, for those of you who are not familiar or forgot from, Vacation Bible School back in church, with David and Goliath, when David stood up and said, man, I'm going to bang on Goliath, the first thing his brothers said is, they said, ooh, you going to bang on Goliath? Do you know how big he is? They was like, okay, all right. Here, take my sword. Here, take my armor. David was like, no, I'm cool on that, cuz. I don't need that blood. I don't need your armor. He said, I don't need your sword. I seen you with that sword. I seen you with that armor. You was a punk with the armor, and you was a punk with the sword. I don't need that sword. I don't need that. I'm good. He said, all I need is 5 smooth stones. There are 5 pillars in Islam. 5 pillars in Islam. But so teaches the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, you really only need 1. And that's the Shahada, which means that you bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. All praises due to Allah. So here's what your brother David did. He started off with that stone. And he cocked back like Michael Vick, busted Goliath upside his head, and that's the only one he needed, but that's not where it ends. When Goliath fell to the ground, now remember, he didn't want his brother's sword. He didn't want his brother's armor. But when he knocked Goliath down, he got on top of Goliath, and he took Goliath's sword. Goliath's sword, and that was a big-ass sword. And he cut his head smooth off. So the lesson in that, all praises due to Allah, is that sometimes, if you got the right mind and you got the right spirit, you can use the enemy's tools, the enemy's creations, to destroy him. See, that's what all praises due to Allah. That's what I was talking about earlier when I was mentioning that you got to know how to read the poison book. You got to know how to read the Bible. You can't read it with that cat in the hat mentality. You can't read it like it's a little children's fairy tale, do you understand? But he was also banned from Twitter. And Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter basically came to the decision that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is dangerous. They called him dangerous. And you know, man, listen, I gotta say, I agree. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for the last 60 plus years has been absolutely a danger, a clear and present danger to everything that is a clear and present danger to you. Anything that is a clear, all praises due to Allah, anything that is a clear and present danger to the aboriginal people of this earth, he bangs on them. But he bangs on them with truth. And like that movie say, they can't handle the truth. All praise. How many of you have ever heard that term before? Clear and present danger. Now, they made a movie about it a while back, but it has a deeper meaning than that. Clear and present danger was coined about 100 years ago. Not 100, but 100 years ago. Exactly 100 years ago, in 1919, where a Supreme Court Justice by the name of Oliver Wendell Holmes. Oliver Wendell Holmes. That sounds like a brother, don't it? Nah, he ain't no brother. That's him. Ain't he cute? That's Oliver Wendell Holmes. He was a Supreme Court Justice. And he determined by setting up a doctrine that said that your First Amendment right, the right to free speech, could be nullified by the Supreme Court if they decided that what you were saying is a clear and present danger to white supremacy. To the United States of America. Same difference. Same difference. But yeah, that's what Oliver Wendell Holmes really looks like. He white as hell. White as hell. Y'all do know that hell is white, right? Well, look around America. Don't you see a lot of white people? Then hell is white. All praises due to Allah. Moving along. Why is it that they see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a clear and present danger to the United States of America? You know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And we have one of the best photographers in the world, and our brother Sermon Muhammad. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you a picture that clearly explains why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a clear and present danger to the United States of America. That's why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a clear and present danger to the United States of America. See, I need you to really soak in what you're looking at right here. That little brother is maybe 10, no older than 12 years old. In 2019, when's the last time you saw a child with their nose and their eyes and their attention that deep in a newspaper? That's the Final Call news. That's the #1 news not controlled by the Jews that he got in his hand right there. That's not a cell phone. That's not a video game controller. That ain't a cartoon that he looking at. He looking at the truth right now. And that is the nightmare of your enemy. Not you carrying a gun. Hell, he got his name on all the guns. He made them guns. He made them guns. You could go get all the guns. He'll make some more. While you playing with your little pop guns, he got drones flying over your head, waiting on you to come out the house. That's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of the minds of the youth getting that kind of truth in their head. In a year like 2019 with all these distractions, all praises due to Allah. Another shout out to Brother Sermon Muhammad with that beautiful picture. I mean, that's like award-winning type photography right there. the white man would consider that a radicalized young black man. Radicalized. They like to throw words out like that at you. Even though you got radicalized, so-called radicalized white boys shooting up whole Walmarts, whole shopping centers, garlic festivals. Now, in Islam, we don't make fun of the dead in any way, shape, or form, but damn, a garlic festival? I can't go taste some garlic without getting shot by some raggedy white boy. But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, observe the operations of the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works in a collective manner. So one thing I got to get at this white boy, when Donald Trump or any other white supremacist even insinuates that they must do something, they move out on it. Trump just look at one of our brown brothers the wrong way, and they want to kill one. If he look at us the wrong way, much less say something about us, the militias, they want to kill one of us. Is that correct? See, what we have to do, we have to observe the operations of that and not kill nobody, not hurt nobody. But when our man, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when he suggests that we do something, we need to damn do it. Do you understand? He told us a long time ago, settle your differences. Did he say that? He said, rebuild the wasted cities. Did he say that? He said, redistribute the pain economically. Keep your money away from this devil. Did he say that? Are we doing it? Are we doing it in the same fervor and the same zeal that these little white boys are shooting up Walmarts? They smiling on their way to jail. They blast that AR-15, that AK-47, then they do like this. Here, go ahead, take me. I'm good. I did my job. We should follow the instructions of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with that same zeal. Oh, rebuild the wasted cities? Okay, let's get it. Settle our differences? Okay, that's my brother. Let's get it. Redistribute the pain economically? Okay, let me find a black-owned grocery store. Let me find a black-owned beauty salon. Let me find a black-owned nail salon. Sisters, let's find a black-owned shoe store. And if you can't find one, damn it, make one. All praises due to Allah. That's not racism. That's just being intelligent. And unfortunately, organized racism is more powerful than disorganized intelligence. So don't tell me how much you know. Oh, yeah, man, you know, bro, I know about the minister. Yeah, you know, I watched that one lecture where he was talking. Yeah, man. But what you know means nothing if you ain't moving out on it. Do you understand? And I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to myself. All praises due to Allah. Now, I already introduced the black man's Bible. But now I want to introduce another book that in this hour is very important. Our Savior has arrived. Our Savior has arrived. I want you to read this carefully. It says, our Savior did what? A lot of us are looking for a Savior. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching us that he already got here. He already is here. And I'm going to read something real quick from this beautiful book, Our Savior Has Arrived. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in this fantastic book, as soon as I find the page. Well, anyway, it's up here on the screen. Let's deal with it on the screen. All praises due to Allah. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says the two worlds, the two camps, the two what? He's telling us that there's really only two worlds. Let's see what he says. He says the world is divided into two camps, Islam and Christianity. Islam and what? But don't gangbang on those two words. Go and find out what Islam really means. Total submission to the will of Allah. Peace. And Christianity being crystallized with Jesus. However, be careful with what Christianity has been turned into by this white man. But it says the world is divided into two camps, Islam and Christianity. Christianity, or we may say the white man, I like that part. The white man has been in power for 6,000 years. He has ruled independently since the birth of Moses 4,000 years ago. Islam came to Israel from Moses. Israel rebelled, and Nimrod, that's who y'all really celebrating on Christmas, by the way. Nimrod broke the civilization of Moses in the 17th century from Moses. So Allah God, who came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, taught me confusion, dissatisfaction, rebelling, fighting, and warring have ever been in Israel's and Christianity's camp due to their desire to follow the very nature in which they were made, making mischief in the land and causing bloodshed. The time of the camp of Islam has arrived. Islam desires to take over. She will take over. Islam will rule the people and in a government of peace, freedom, justice, and equality. This is angering the old world of rebelling and warring against each other, Judaism and Christianity. Again, let's give it up for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But what does this mean to you? That there are two worlds. What we have to understand, dear brothers and sisters, it's really just two worlds. You in one right now in the Nation of Islam. This ain't even really a mosque, brothers and sisters. This is a classroom. This is a classroom where you're learning the knowledge of self, knowledge of God, and knowledge of the devil. As soon as you leave here, I'm talking as soon as you walk out that door, you in their class. You're going to walk outside and look up, you're going to see a billboard that's going to advertise their class, their temple, their mosque, their synagogue. I ain't talking about no place with so-called religion. We got a messed up understanding of religion. Everything you see on television, that's his class. That's him trying to teach you something, trying to get you to believe something in a certain fashion. That's his world. So we use deceptive intelligence and say, you know what, I ain't in the mosque and all that, but I'm out here, I'm doing it. I'm doing the work. No, you in his class. You going to his mosque. Yeah, you are still in the mosque. You in his mosque. The club is his mosque. His restaurants, that's his mosque. All of that is his. You have to choose between those two worlds. It ain't but two. Pick one. One is life, one is death. And we wonder what's wrong with us. I tell you what's wrong with us. We going to the wrong mosque. We going to the wrong temple. We going to the wrong church. We going to the wrong synagogue. Who is his preachers? You know who his preachers are. Politicians. Donald Trump. That's his bishop. Huh? These are his leaders. So don't think that when you leave here, oh yeah, I got it. Let me just go after this and do that. No, man, you in his world. So you have to protect yourself with the full armor of God. Is that correct? All praise is due to Allah. Now, I'm going to bring this up real quick. This is going to cause flashbacks for some of y'all, some of the believers. This is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Savior's Day 2006, with the lecture titled, Birth of a Nation. Oh, that's where he got it from. Yeah, that's where I got it from. But in this lecture, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught on the book of Revelations with a woman that was laying down on 7 hills. That woman represents the false church, meaning the false religion, not this church, Christianity, this denomination, the false church of the white man's world. Lying on 7 hills. Those 7 hills are represented by nations. Those are governments that she was lying on. Do you understand? And he taught on this scripture right here. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse, I believe, we're going to start with verse 3. And the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan taught on this. He said, and I'm quoting the Bible, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man, let no who? No man. Deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now we got to deal with something. he used the word man. He used the word son. Men, unless you 5150, men are not spooks. Men are not spirits. A son, that is the physical offspring of a man. Do you understand? So we have to cast that role. Our beloved Western Regional Student Minister, Abdul Malik Saeed, points out that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches that we got to take Scripture, Bible and Quran, particularly the Bible, and superimpose it over the world that we live in, and then cast the roles the same way they do in Hollywood. Who is this man of sin? Who is the son of perdition? That is the white man. I know. You love him so much, but that's who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was talking about. So now we're being born. We're building a nation. And some of y'all are like, well, where is it? Where is it? Sisters, yes, sir. In a natural birth, and even an unnatural birth, there's pain. Is that correct? Yes, sir. There's pain. There is contractions. Is that correct? Yes, sir. There's blood. Yes, sir. In fact, if a man is in the room, like the husband or the father of this child is being born, he might punk out a little bit. He might faint. Huh? That's what we see right now. All these chicken pecking knuckle toms who always got something to say about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. See, they fainting at what they see in the birth of a nation. Keith Ellison, he fainting. Cory Booker, they fainting. All these so-called politicians and congressmen, they fainting. They can't take it. They got to step outside the room and get some water. As hard as we act, boy, when we see a woman giving birth, we like, man, I didn't even know we could do all that. Is that correct? So don't be mad at all these Uncle Toms. They just can't take what they looking at. They looking at your birth. They looking at your resurrection. And they just can't handle it. All praise is due to Allah. But what is it that doctor says, or that doula, when a woman is giving birth? And she's in so much pain. And she look like she about to give up, right? Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on, sisters. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, yes, sir. You gave birth before, brother? So you giving birth and you in so much pain. So what the doctor keeps saying to you? Keep saying what? Keep saying what? And you in so much pain, but they keep on telling you to push. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us, man, it don't matter how long you pushed in the past. What you did yesterday. What you did 10 years ago. He said, keep on pushing, because the baby ain't born yet. We got to keep pushing. All praises due to Allah. We got to keep pushing until the baby is born. And speaking of pushing, I got to show love to the illustrious push crew. Give it up for the Mosque number 27 push crew. All praise, man, all shapes, sizes, and ages. Yes, sir. Keep it going for our brothers. All praises due to Allah. Not only we in the projects right there. I believe that. Yes, sir. That's in the Nickerson Gardens. We pushing places y'all scared to go. Some of y'all mama live in the Nickerson Gardens. You ain't seen it in 10 years. We pushed the final call there. All praises due to Allah. And not only do we push, but we have the top final call salesman in the Nation of Islam, and our brother Willie 9X. Give that brother a round of applause. 300 papers a week. All praises due to Allah. In fact, we push all over the world. This is our brother Darren Muhammad. Do you know where he is in this picture? You see the bow tie. You see the final call. He's in the holiest part of the world. He's in Dubai, pushing the final call. Give him a round of applause. All praises due to Allah. All praises due to Allah. And who is this right here? See, it ain't no big eyes and little U's. Mosque number 27, we all push. That's our Western Regional Student Captain, Captain Halim Muhammad. getting it in. 150 plus final calls every week. The highways and the byways. And he get it in, brother. I'm telling you. And I'm going to tell you, these two brothers right here, on the far left and the far right, these brothers are scientists of the Final Call newspaper. They handle business on one end, but they never forget the Final Call. They never forget the #1 student minister in the Nation of Islam, which is the Final Call. These brothers are out there at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Getting it. Whether they with 50 brothers or by themselves. Give it up for our first officer, Brother James A. Muhammad. And our student training captain, Captain Will Muhammad. Them brothers never stop. Never stop. And our beloved Western Regional Student Minister, Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad. The people love him. He pushes a hard line. Am I forgetting somebody? Brothers, am I forgetting somebody? Am I forgetting somebody? Oh, I forgot the sisters push too. All praise is due to Allah for the mighty, mighty MGT. When they go out, all praise is due to Allah. Brothers, stand up for your sisters. Stand up for the black woman. All praise is due to Allah. I'm going to tell you. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. When our people see the sisters, you should look at the look in their eyes. They feel like God himself is coming up on them. And I don't care what condition they are in, that brother, that sister, when they see our sisters, man, they clean, they sober up immediately. Even if they just got drunk, even if they just got high. Ain't never spent a day in the ranks, but as soon as the sisters come, they stand at attention. Salami lami alaikum, dear sister. And it's beautiful, man. That's the power of the teachers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All praise is due to Allah. So we building a nation. But when the baby is born, the baby is separated from the womb. Sister, you finally got that big head baby out. So there's a separation that takes place. So since we being born, we got to start thinking about separation. Separation from the wicked womb and triple darkness of this wicked hell of North America. And we can't say we can't do it. We already did it. We've done it before. We just got to follow the blueprint. How many of you, all praises due to Allah, have ever heard of Black Wall Street? All praises due to Allah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's actually my hometown. The first 17 years of my life in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I moved to Atlanta, then I moved here to Los Angeles. That was in 1921 when they burned it down. So that means it earned the name Black Wall Street long before that. In the early 1900s, some of them were actually freed slaves. Some of them, when they bought their first houses, they signed the deed with an X because they couldn't even spell their own name. But they built a nation within a nation. At a time when white people didn't just call you a nigger. They slung you from a tree. They burned you at the stake. But that was okay. They built the nation anyway. Let's look at some of the accomplishments of this great nation within the nation that they built. Look at this. 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants. Now I'm going to tell you something. Some of you who hear about Black Wall Street, y'all probably thinking that it was some vast city in the middle of Oklahoma. This whole area was about the distance between Manchester and Century. It wasn't that big at all. 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters. And this is when movies first came out. Movies ain't been around that long. 6 private airplanes, a hospital, a bank, and its own school system. That's you. That ain't them. That's you. You did that. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, some of us, let's just be real. Some of us are scared to death Negroes. So as I was talking about Black Wall Street, some of y'all thought, well, look what they did. They burned it down. If we do it again, they're going to burn it down again. They burning you down anyway. They burning you down anyway. And since when does the black man stop doing something when the white man tries to stop you? Some of y'all go to jail every 6 months for selling the same stepped-on dope. And as soon as you make bail, you call up the plug, he give you more of that raggedy dope, and you right back on the corner. With the same jeans, the same shoes, the same Chucks, same khakis, same Ben Davis, running from the same officer. Y'all know each other on a first name basis. When he catch you, you say, hey, Chuck. He say, hey, Deontay. We got you again. And that don't stop you. That don't stop you. Some of us have went to prison or went to jail for not paying child support. And you still making babies. So we know how to do wrong no matter what. No matter who try to stop us. Even when we get caught. Even when we get jail time, prison time. We get back and we do it right over again. But keep in mind, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and I'm going to close in a moment. He said, observe the operations of the white man. Now, another thing that happens every year in the state of Oklahoma, and y'all know this if y'all watch the news, the minister said, watch the weather, right? Because of this and what they did to Black Wall Street, Oklahoma is in the heart of what they call Tornado Alley. And every year, I kid you not, one of them dancing ladies that they call a tornado rips through the state of Oklahoma, destroys an entire zip code, and then some little raggedy white girl reporter goes to where the tornado hit, and they find the raggediest po white trash, and they stick a microphone in their face and they say, ma'am, your whole town has been destroyed. What are you gonna do? And she says, with about 3 teeth in her mouth, she said, well, we just gonna rebuild. But I like that. I respect that. That's God checking them. That's God destroying them. Even though God is destroying them, they say, man, we gonna rebuild anyway. I respect that gangster. We should take notes. So when the enemy destroys what we trying to do, just keep on doing it. He ain't gonna be here long anyway. Keep doing what you're doing. All praise is due to Allah. But do you know how the destruction of Black Wall Street kicked off in 1921? Now, the easy answer is, well, white folks just being white folks. It's just their nature. It's just how they are. It's just what they do. That's true. But there was an incident or a terrible decision by a black man. I'm not blaming this brother. He was a young brother. But it was a bad decision that we continue to do to this day that really kicked it off. And I'm not blaming this brother, but I want you to listen to this. They were making so much money in Black Wall Street that a young man could make good money just shining black men's shoes in the streets. They could make more money than a school teacher just shining shoes. So it created kind of a good problem. You had young black men dropping out of school just to shine shoes in Black Wall Street. It was one brother who was making a lot of money shining black men's shoes, black millionaires' shoes on Black Wall Street. But he suffered from a disease that a lot of us suffer from today, a mental disease. And he thought, man, if I'm making this much money shining nigger shoes, how much money can I make if I go 3 blocks down north or south and shine white man's shoes? So he loaded up his shine box amongst his own people because he felt like black money wasn't green enough. He went to the white side of town, which was only a few blocks away, and they treated him like dirt. He would shine a white man's shoes and they'd throw a penny at his head and say, here, nigga, take this penny. Y'all the same color anyway, take this penny. And then one day, now this is predominantly folklore, but what I just told you is absolute truth. One day, a white man spat on him. After shining his shoes, he spat on him. And this brother, just like a typical North Tulsa brother, he stood up like, hold on, man, you don't spit on me. But he calmed himself down and he went home to North Tulsa, to Black Wall Street, where he was from. But they didn't even like the fact that he stood up with his chest out, his shoulders back. They said, man, you don't spit on me. They said, look at these uppity niggas in North Tulsa. We got to do something about them. Now, that white man couldn't go to another white man and say, hey, let's go burn down that whole side of town because he looked at me the wrong way. He had to tell a little story with it. Oh, I think that nigga was messing with a white woman. He touched a white woman. And then they burned down Black Wall Street. So that was incited by the white man being the devil, but also by a black man thinking that white money is greener. White is better. White ice is colder. White businesses are better. We got to have pride in our own and stick to our own and leave these damn devils alone. Do you understand? Y'all all right? Can y'all give me about 5 more minutes? You sure? See, we have a covenant with hell. A covenant with hell. The root of the word covenant is covenir, which simply means an agreement. It's the same root of a contract. We have a contract with this devil's world. And when you find yourself in a bad contract, our brothers in the music industry know what I'm talking about. They got something in the music industry called a 360 deal. A 360 deal, which means when a rapper signs that deal, anything he does that makes money, the Jew that he signed to can come and take their cut. See, when we signed a 3-6 deal, 666, with the white man. And we got to break that. But when you want to break a contract, what do you have to do? You have to go and get you a team of lawyers in order to break that deal. In the book of Isaiah 28:15, it says that we have made a covenant with death. A covenant with what? Death. A covenant with what? Death. So what we need at this time, dear brothers and sisters, we need a legal team. We need a dream team. Like Johnny Cochran and them. A dream team that can break us from that contract. Break us from that deal that we signed. That wicked covenant. Master Fard Muhammad. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the master, the messenger, and the minister. That's all we need to break ourselves from that wicked covenant. Listen, I leave you as I greeted you in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Give yourselves a round of applause, people. All praises due to Allah. 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 Thank you. All praises due to Allah. Man, that's all we need right there, dear brothers. Now, I just got a couple of quick questions before I let y'all go. I know y'all tired of looking at my big head. Couple of quick questions. How many of you believe that what you heard today is the truth and good for our people? Raise your hand. All praises due to Allah. Give yourselves a round of applause. I did my job. My job is done. My job is 100% done. But as I mentioned before, our enemy, our open enemy, the Caucasian, when he gets an instruction from Donald Trump or any other white supremacist, they move out on it. They don't just sit around talking about it. That white boy that shot up the Walmart, he didn't sit around talking about shooting up a Walmart. You know, that's like mental masturbation, just sitting up there thinking about what you're gonna do, but you don't do a damn thing. He didn't sit up there like, man, I'm gonna shoot up a Walmart, a Bed Bath & Beyond, then I'm gonna run up in Red Lobster. He just went and did it. We have to get to the point as people that when we know what's good for us, like separation, which is the best and only answer to our problems in this wicked world, we got to get up and do it. Another thing about Donald Trump, I know y'all love Donald Trump, but here's something I respect about him. How many of y'all have heard about, we just gonna say the allegations, that he teamed up with Vladimir Putin, Russia, to basically steal the 2016 election? Raise your hand. I'm gonna tell you how amazing that is. I said amazing. Donald Trump is what's called a capitalist. That means he only cares about making a dollar. He don't care who he got to step on or what. He's a capitalist. He all about that money. Vladimir Putin is a cold, hard communist, which ain't a bad word if you really know what it means. Communists believe in share and share alike. If I got $1 million, I need to give up at least half that so my brother can raise up. And whatever he makes, he need to give up about half that for his brother to raise up. So their two ideologies are completely different, night and day. But they had one common cause, and that is white supremacy. White supremacy. So they put all of that to the side. They said, listen, you a communist, you a communist cracker, I'm a capitalist cracker, but listen, we got to look out for our cracker brothers. Let's steal this election to become the leader of the free world, the most powerful country in the world. Do you understand? They put those differences aside to come together to do something that's already in the annals of history. So now I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you are here for your first time? Raise your hand. Very first time. All praises due to Allah. All praises due to Allah. How many are here for your second, third, fourth, or fifth time? Raise your hand. All praises due to Allah. So I'm gonna use a little bit of street language. I'm gonna find out who really about that life. Who really about that life? Who really out here? Who really out here? Who really getting active? See, because we could talk about, yeah, we need to do this, brother, we need to do that. But now I'm going to find out who really with that life. So by show of hands, how many of y'all want to learn more about building your own nation? Who want to get to the point where you have your own Black Wall Street in 2019? Raise your hand. Man, go ahead and stand up for me, because I want to shake your hand. Brothers, come back down this way.